coach, special person in our community, man. We got Coach Tom Fallaw, and he's with us on the 50, man. So right now we're still early getting locked in, man. I got Jeremy Queen Akers, the heavy hitter coming on in. You know, he come for all his meetings. You know, he's the meeting of the meeting guy. You know, Queen, man. Give a shout out to Jeremy Queen and all over the community. So he coming in today, man. And we got a great episode, man. And so we're excited this evening, man, to talk with Coach Fallaw, man. Coach, how you doing?
Good. You know, so my daughter called me and said she saw the podcast. She said, Dad, you do know that podcast? She said, we need to talk.
We got to talk.
So, a couple things, you know, I do not like crowds, I do not like talk. Anybody, you don't know. So, but, you know, the one thing I am passionate about is y'all really platform.
Yes, sir. Cairo football in the house.
Yes, sir. You know, whenever I was going to talk about that, that's pretty easy. So I feel like it'll go good.
It's gonna go good. Well, we here, man. We're excited. Y'all know I'm high energy, so y'all have to excuse me. But we're gonna get started off with our Lord and Savior, man. The Queen gonna open us up with a word of prayer.
Grace turn to our Lord. Thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for all you supporters Lord that we see, Lord. I should please continue to put your edge of protection with every man that's represented in this room today. Lord, you keep our families safe and put a hedge of protection around them, Lord. They should please use us in your will to do your work in our community, in our homes, with our families, in our churches, that we be good stewards of your word, Lord, that we can be a shining beacon to the youth that's behind us, that's watching us set the example, Lord. Let us be honest, goodwill. Let us tell the truth. Let us lead and guide from our heart with that thing you put in us to love one another. God, I ask you to please watch over this podcast tonight. Let it be some things that we didn't know come out of it. Let it be all good things that be spoken of, Lord. And let us at the end give you all the praise, the glory, and the honor. In the Master Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Good kickoff, man. That kickoff was deep.
I try not to go too in, though.
You kick that one deep. They had to do a touchback. You know how you catch it and just take a kneel.
Okay. We finna put you on the clock then, Mike. You go ahead and do the introduction.
Man, so man, I'm truly excited, man, to introduce an individual, a legend in our community, man. Coach, been coaching here for over 20 years, man. Been in our community ever since 2001, man. I had an opportunity to play under coach in a sense, man, because he was an offensive coach. He was an offensive coordinator. We was all on the defensive side. But Coach come from Atlanta, Georgia, man. Born, bred, athlete, played all the sports. Okay. Come down and coach us Syrupmakers and give us a back-to-back visit to the state championship in 2008. We won the state championship. Man, he has tied the most winningest record with the most winningest coach here at West Thomas. We got Coach Fallaw sitting at number one. I think 116 wins with 32 losses. That's big, Coach.
That's big.
Yeah, we remember every one of them losses.
Woo, we do.
We can't count
God,
that.
no, Coach, that's a powerful record, though, Coach. Man,
it's actually 34.
34. You know that, don't
I know
excuse
the
me.
losses. Like
34 losses, but 116 wins, 34 losses were introduced in 2017 Grady County Hall of Fame, man. Okay. We have a great guest. We're going to talk about the football. Like I say, 7 champions, regional champions, man, back to back, all the way deep in the playoff. Just brought us good football time to time every Friday night. So I'm here to introduce Coach Tom Fallaw. Man, let me give him a hand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
it's an honor to be between you two.
Yes, Coach. You know, you're sitting in good hands now.
It's funny because, I mean, my first year I was here,
yes, sir.
I had the opportunity to coach y'all. And Jeremy doesn't remember the story, but it's one of my. I have 2 of them.
Yeah. Come on.
First one, me and Coach Chance are in that old gym, and you know, we just got through some jumping jacks and got the kids in a line, and there's a young man in the middle of the floor, and here comes Jeremy, you know, into the gym, and he walks in, he says, "Coaches." He kind of gives me and Coach Chance the hand.
Yeah.
And he goes right there in the middle of the floor, and he picks this kid up, and he slams him on the floor.
Oh,
and he says, "Man, I told you not to wear that earring to school." And I'm looking at Coach Chance like, and you know, he says, "Coach, that's his brother." So Jeremy done come there and slam. You remember that? Slamming Darrell on the court because he wore the earring?
I don't even remember.
You were like that.
You did. And you waved and walked right out and said, "See, coach." And me and James just sitting there looking at each other like,
but now the time done turned.
Hey Queen, I gotta say this though, just piggyback on Coach Fallaw, bro. You always had that just leadership, no nonsense type of attitude though, Queen. That's not what you carry.
And I can't remember if it was you or Queen, but we were running. We were in two-a-days, and you remember how two-a-days.
Oh yeah.
And we sitting there at the end, and we running some gassers, and I'm not gonna say the young man, but he's on a knee because he's tired.
You talking about?
And got his helmet off.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was you or him, but one of you came in, and I mean,
smoke.
Yeah, there was stuff going up in the air. There was, and I've been, we all like to say we know a lot about football, and we've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Man, nobody understands Cairo kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody wants to know, why I stayed here or why I never left. And it's really easy, because it's inside you. You can't coach that. You can't teach that. You can harness it. Yeah, that's what we were good at. We could harness kids. But that want to, man, are you kidding me? I mean, just blew them up. And it was like, Father, this is good stuff. I gotta be here.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, like that's how it was, man. We were real serious. By that time I see your coach, man, we were so prime. Coach Hodge, Coach Bobo, Coach Phil had us
locked in.
A Swiss Army knife, bro. Like we were small, but we were compact, bro.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, in this area, you just said a mouthful when you said those names. I mean, because, all those guys and anybody that, is kind of a coach can kind of tell you a tree that they came from.
Right.
And when you start talking about Hodges, Bobo, and Coach Field, and then you look at the top of that tree, which is Coach Lamb that was up at Georgia forever and Commerce High School, and the fact that West Rome and the championships they won there, if you're going to walk into a room and you're going to try to talk football with them, you better know your stuff.
Right.
And really that's the maturity. I was 4 years of coaching before I came down here and thought I was a football coach.
What?
You walk into a room and get on a board and you get asked some questions, and it's a little different.
For real?
It'll humble you.
Wow.
And so, I give a lot of credit to Coach Field and all those guys because they really turned my career, to be honest with you, to where it wasn't just I'm a coach, to I am a coach.
Right. So I'm a coach.
Yeah, it was a lot different. Coach Field and working for him, he's still one of the best defensive minds I've ever been.
I agree.
Period. The thing that's I'll never forget about Coach Field. We're about to go play Mares too. I grew up 2 miles from Mares.
Yep.
And man, I couldn't wait to play him because Coach Chadwick, he wouldn't let me play for him at Mares. Okay?
You're ready to give it to him.
He's been there forever.
Yeah.
So, I was ready to play coach. And I remember coming in on that Sunday.
Okay.
And y'all know as well as I do, we're 8-man.
Right.
We're 8-man.
Oh, yeah.
Against Mares, we weren't. Against Mares, remember, he put in the stack.
Right.
He was 4-3.
Yep.
He says, "Coach, don't you worry about this. I got this." And I was like, you're 8-man, coach. What we doing? But you go back to what I talked about the family tree, and Coach Lamb, they were option. Okay. So he knew exactly how to stop. He had played in practice all the time growing up. He knew what he was going to do to stop that. Yeah. I mean, he knew what he was going to do.
Man, that's
but just to see somebody change in game 13 from what y'all had always done, was just amazing.
That was crazy. We would have a whole. We would be in practice all week. What we gonna run? How we gonna stop it? And mid game, he would just change everything. Like, no, this is what we gonna do.
Yeah,
he adjusted just like that.
Exactly. What we do against Central? Y'all there?
Stack crack.
All of a sudden against Central.
This your only man all night. You stop this man, we got this
game.
Yeah.
Just like that.
You know, those, back when Pilcher was there and you know, Coach Field and then us when we were kind of coming on. Those games between us and Central, if you weren't there at 7:30 for kickoff, it was over at 8:30.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we was and we were going to piss at each other.
Right.
They knew what we were going to do, and we knew what they were going to do.
Stop it.
And stop me. You know, and
that's football, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
football,
I mean, you go talk to Thomas County Central's quarterbacks that played for Pilcher or Shaver and ask them what they think about Cairo.
Yeah.
They know because they got tagged.
They got hit.
And it didn't matter what
Felt
year
it.
that was. They felt
It
it.
didn't even matter.
No.
Win, lose, or draw.
Win, lose.
Dude, bring
I
that.
don't care about no scoreboard. I'm gonna make you feel me, bro. You cross this Barnett Creek too.
So one of the great stories about Marist, and y'all probably don't know this, y'all remember Peter Augustus' touchdown?
Yeah, I saw that. I remember.
Okay, so all week on film, we had noticed that they had this safety. He was a freshman, and we thought he was the Booster Club son. Okay, and we run motion, or people would run motion, and the guy wouldn't adjust; he'd be too slow. So we drew up a little play for a peep. We knew it was going to be a time to play, and I think y'all just got a big stop on 4th down.
I remember that.
And we knew it was time for Peter, and we hit him on that swing
I
pass.
remember that.
Y'all want to know who that safety was?
Who?
Sean McVay, head coach for the Los Angeles Rams.
For real?
What?
Yes, sir. Look it up.
What?
So,
I never knew that.
I know you don't. So, I mean, but that was
That was him?
That was him.
He was a freshman, and then he became their starting quarterback, and they actually won the state championship, I think, in '03 when he was a
Sean
senior.
McVay.
Sean McVay was the safety.
Yeah.
But the safety that we got leverage on, we got outside of it.
Yes, sir.
I remember that play.
Man,
You know,
that is...
and that's a
Wow,
when
that's
you talk about Cairo and you talk about teams, and we'll talk about our feelings about it. But Peter Augusta is no different than Moses Patterson that I had in 2008 as a receiver.
Oh, wow.
Peter Augusta just sat there in the wings because we had Roger James, we had King Brooks, we had Hardy. I mean, we had running backs everywhere.
All day.
But I mean, Peter Augusta was a team guy. You know, he sat there all year waiting for his time, and that was his time.
That was his time.
You know, I mean, no different than Moses Patterson, 12th grader. Playing B team out here, and we had kids that fought because they wanted to play B team back then. Because they just liked to compete. And then all of a sudden, really, I think Moses, his first start was in the state championship game. I mean, just because he always was there, always did what he was supposed to do.
Right.
And that's Cairo kids. That's what we do.
His number got called.
Yeah, you create that team atmosphere, and those type of kids show up all the time.
God.
Coach, I remember one of your players, Bryce Thorne.
Hitman.
Yeah. Look,
The only kid that ever gave himself a nickname.
he did not. He didn't.
Hit stick.
Hit
stick, and we all
He
laughed.
gave himself the
But
name.
look, Coach, Queen. I remember I came out there a couple practices to bring my dog. I had my dog, and so I came out there one practice. I had my dog, and I was talking. I'm sitting on the sideline. I'm always encouraging and motivating the kids. So, throwing over the body. He said, man, Coach, man, they ain't getting me in. They ain't getting no plays, man. They ain't getting no in. They ain't trying to. I said, Thorne, this is what I want you to do. Every time you go in, I want you to haul off and hit the person in front of you hard as you can. And every rep that you get, just go full speed, bro. Yeah. I promise you they got to put you in somewhere. It might start with special teams, but you going to get in. That thing you know, Brian Thorne playing. That thing you know, you out there hitting.
He cracked the lineup on a good team. And really as a 9th and 10th grader, you probably wouldn't have traded him. You would have given him away.
Right.
Bryce just kept working. It shows the work ethic that we have in that.
Love that, man.
And he ended up starting a will linebacker on a good football. And Bryce
Wood, probably number 14, if I can remember correctly.
He was number 14.
See, I said, I tell you, man, I remember that, man. That's awesome, Coach. So let's go rewind a little bit, man. Tell you how your upbringing, how you was back in Atlanta, growing up in Atlanta, Coach.
We're a lot different back then than kids are now. I mean,
Break that down for me. Tell about that.
When we got home at 3 o'clock, we didn't jump on a video game. We was growing up, we was in the yard when it's football season, playing football.
Yep.
When it was basketball, we was playing basketball.
Yep.
When it was baseball, we was playing baseball. And in the summer when Wimbledon was on, we all thought we were tennis players. It's just and I still think, and we joke about it. There wasn't a sport I wasn't above average in, you don't think? Because we played it all. And then high school, I started all 4 years in baseball and football.
Shout out, Coach. What position you played in baseball,
I
Coach?
was a catcher in baseball.
Okay.
I was a guard, offensive lineman in football. So, football was my first love. I mean, I grew up in DeKalb County, right near Old Brookport College, Linton Square Mall, for those that know the area a little bit.
Yeah.
In that area, you talk about football coaches. Back then, you had T. McFerrin, you had Dave Hunter, guys in Buck Godfrey in Southwest DeKalb. I mean, you had guys that on a Friday night, DeKalb didn't have stadiums in their schools.
Okay.
We had joint stadiums.
Right. Community stadiums.
Right. So, I mean, you couldn't wait till the next Friday night. When I was growing up and not in high school yet, my dad would take us, let's go watch this game, and you'd have Southwest DeKalb versus Peachtree.
Okay.
And Peachtree's closed now, but the quarterback there, they played Valdosta State Championship probably in '82.
Okay.
My years kind of get to me there. I'm getting old, but
Yes, sir.
You get a pass.
We all getting that now.
But I mean, they had a quarterback, Todd Rampy, that played for Georgia Tech, and they were really good. But just those games started to shape it. And then from there, you start reading the newspaper every week, and I can still remember this is when I'm junior, senior in high school, and you're keeping up because you're playing who the good teams are. And, in North Georgia, you had Billy Henderson, who was at Clark Central.
Okay, you talking about
and down here in South Georgia, you had Coach Hyder or Bazemore that was at Valdosta.
Yep.
Those were really the two biggest programs in that time, 4A.
Okay.
It was either, Clark Central, Warner Robins, or Valdosta were the ones that were always going to be in it. And it seemed like Valdosta beat Clark Central, more times than Clark beat them.
Wow.
Or you'd hear a lot more about Billy Henderson. But, I knew going to college that I wanted to coach just because every day that's what I did. I played sports. And I'm paying the price right now with a little bit of skin cancer. But, the thing about it is that I knew I wanted to coach, and I knew I wanted to work for Billy Henderson.
Wow.
So Coach Henderson told me, when you graduate from college, I'll hire you.
What?
Yeah.
How did you feel when he told you that, man?
It was great. So I went to work, and I was ready.
Ready.
First year I was straight out of college, 23. He put me on varsity. I coached running backs, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I had 2 Division I running backs. That's an easy year.
That's easy year.
Yeah, just be fast.
Yeah. Easy year.
One of the young man's name was Emmett Smith. The other one was James Marshall. It was funny that
Emmett Smith and James Marshall.
But they were.
Y'all hear me, man? Y'all come man. Y'all show up on the 50, man.
Man, they tearing this thing
up. But he, that was my start, and from there I stayed. Billy Henderson retired.
Okay.
Actually, the first year I got there.
Really?
And then Steve Shankweiler, who y'all probably don't know, and I don't know if any people listen to podcasts know, but Shankweiler was the OC at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Him and Bill Lewis got fired that year.
Okay.
And he had taken the head job down in Glenn, but then he came to Griffin.
Okay.
And so he actually went to the same high school as my dad, and he knew my dad and knew I was coaching, and brought me to Griffin because he wanted me to be the offensive line coach. That was my first love.
Right. Offensive line.
Steve Shankweiler was a prodigy of Jim McAnally, who coached for the Cincinnati Bengals and some other people.
Some big names.
Well, I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. We got your own here.
Big names.
Well, talk to me.
So Shank really was the one that first started teaching me the interwebs of offensive line. And eventually it became Coach Hodges and those guys.
Okay.
But at Griffin, when I showed up and all of a sudden I moved to offensive line and he started teaching me, I also learned that you don't learn until you're thrown into a fight.
What kind of fight? Like a game fight?
No, you're now the coach, and you got to figure out how to be good. Because and you go to a practice and your tight guard is getting absolutely destroyed by a 3 technique, or he can't release inside, veer inside to get to the linebacker on the trap, which y'all know we ran all the time.
Right.
The path is wrong. I mean, you've got to start getting technical with your steps, the way you do it, the technique, the rip, whatever it is. That's when you start learning those things. And I tell people this, and I tell people when I was on the administrative side.
Yes.
there's bad days. You jump in a car, and if you don't get home, if you don't start on the way home thinking, what can I do better? Because a lot of times you want to blame everybody else for what's going on.
Right.
You know, you better start thinking about what you can do to make the situation better. And you know, that was just kind of, you know, I spent 4 years there. I told you I was coming down. I used to work Jim Donovan's football camp a bunch.
Okay.
It's when they first started those football camps, prospect camps.
So with those type of camps, you have like different players everywhere come, or just be particular positional players?
Well, back then it was a prospect camp.
Okay.
And so it would be a 2-day camp where they bring in the kids they want to sign.
At a particular school.
Right. And so Jim Donovan was the head coach of Georgia. It was when and it was when Bobo was still the quarterback at Georgia and Kirby was still DB.
Okay.
But you know, we would go work the camp, and you'd befriend a lot of people. You know, that would work the camp, and most of them were head coaches or coordinators. So I guess, you know, the fact that I worked that camp, my name started getting around a little bit.
Okay.
Had a phone call from a guy that worked the camp with me, Tony Kirkland, who was at Moultrie.
Okay.
He was a baseball coach, really, that won state championships for Moultrie, but he also coached defensive line back for Jim Hughes. Remember Jim Hughes at Moultrie?
Yeah.
So Mike Singletary, who was actually an old middle school coach from Grady County, he coached for Washington Middle. He was the head coach at Washington Middle League. Had become the head coach at Moultrie.
Okay.
And he had got my number and asked me if I'd come down and interview for the job from Kirkland. So on my way down here, somebody, I forget who it was, had texted me and said there was an OC opening with Coach Field. And somehow we got hooked up and we talked, and I said, you know, sure, I'll come, but you know, my interest was to go to Colquitt County. You know, back then that's when Colquitt County was playing in the Dome every year, and that's what you saw.
You know,
but I also knew the Cairo, because I watched the Cairo Doherty game and I watched the Cairo Coney game where old Tyson Brown had hit us on the wing tee tackle trap. But you know, so I said, well, you know, I'll go interview there too. I had no intention probably of coming to Cairo. But what's funny is, and I told you this, you know, when as soon as I walked in, sat down with Coach Field and looked at that stadium through that window, and I talked to him, I knew there was nowhere else I wanted to be.
Wow.
You know, and then it was, then it was kind of.
That sealed the deal for you right there.
But then it was kind of guaranteed, and it's still, man, we went and played Thomasville was our first game that year. Yeah, 9-0, and man, I'm telling you, I was hooked, and that's when I said, you know, I told my dad and mom would come down every game. We drive 4 hours, and and he, he came down. He came down on the field. And I just told him, Dad, I ain't ever leaving this place. I mean, you know, you sit there at a football game and you got 6,000 people who were bought in, and you know, the term fan. It comes from fanatics. You know,
right. Fan comes from fanatics.
And that's what it is down here. And you know, there was no change in where I was.
And we had it rocking when we was in there.
Man, it was
sell out crowd every Friday.
I mean, on a game like Thomasville, Bangers,
it was standing room on.
Y'all remember we were playing Bangers that year, and by the way, Bangers had the safety that played for the Giants.
He played for the Georgia Tech.
He did.
James Buckler.
And we kind of thought that was going to be a tough game going in. Yeah, you know, and I can't remember. I know that, you know, we had the crew in the end zone that has the money on the games, and well, not money. They had Diet Coke on.
Don't say that.
They're not Diet Coke. They buying the boys Diet Coke, man. They buying the boys Diet Coke. So, we had old Daryl Hardy on a 3rd and 15, bust the old 30 trap right up the gut from about 60 for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember that fan that fell over the fence. It was high-fiving Hardy.
Man, for real.
Yeah, Coach Field was showing that tape over and over. Yeah. Because he said, he won him some money.
He won a lot of money. It was a lot of money being betted on them games we played.
We don't even know all that.
You won't never know the ins and outs.
But that's why, you know, when I tell you that
that passion was.
Well, it is, but I also tell you that's why I know the 34 losses. Okay, because around here we don't handle losses real well. You know, and losses, man. I mean, the thing about a loss and something, it would make my life. Well, it would make my life visible from Friday to Monday. Okay,
And
because
get back to the field and fix it.
well, I wasn't worried about me.
Okay.
See, because on Monday we had to come back and convince y'all that we all weren't stupid. Because that's what you hear all weekend.
Yeah.
That coach needs to go. He ain't playing you.
Yeah.
They're stupid. Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? And then you got to convince everybody we got to come back here. Because right now we're here. We got to hit somebody with some force.
Yeah.
So I mean, them 34 losses. When I tell you I remember them, is because on Monday I couldn't wait to get to practice truck because I got to win you back.
Yeah.
And that's the thing we got to remember. During the season, in a game, when we sit in a game, man, I cuss Kirby every day. I ain't cussing Kirby tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, when we lose, then that's when it's time to kind of come back.
That's it.
If we need adjustments, those adjustments will happen later.
Right.
But we got to stop. We got to stop beating ourselves. How can we beat everybody else when we beat ourselves?
That's great.
But Coach, I don't think that's just in Cairo. I think that's anywhere though. In Central, in Bainbridge, in Thomasville, you lose a game, especially you lose a game with
South Georgia. South Georgia.
It's hard to be a coach in DC.
I don't know. I mean,
But you saying Cairo got extra layers.
What I'm telling you is Cairo. Every coach knows the pressures that come with the job. If you don't win, you're gone. And my wife knew that. Okay.
Right.
And my wife, I give her all the credit in the world.
Right.
And
Sweetest thing on earth.
And Tim Helms and Carl Gaines, because they took a chance on me.
Right.
We scrimmaged Brooks County my first game in 2003. Over in Brooks County, Ryan Branch was the head football coach, and they were running the wing team. And we had told each other that we weren't going to game plan each other, blah, blah, blah. We get over there, and that wing team and our kids, and they absolutely destroy us. I think it's 28-0 at halftime. And
you ready to get fired?
Wait, no, was this guy walks by? This guy walks by and looks at my wife and says, "I hope you ain't unpacked your bags." That's a true story. That ain't no wise tale. That's what happened. And I remember coming home, my wife sitting there crying, and I had to tell her, maybe that's. Don't come if you're not going to be able to handle it.
You gotta have
because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, as a coach's wife, she had to sit there in the stands, and she had to listen to it. But I had to teach her and my kids.
Yeah.
It's not personal. It's not personal. This is. Remember what I do on a Saturday during the Georgia game, because I get to be a fan too.
Yes.
I'm going to throw and cut stuff, but that's part of being a fanatic. But fanatics has got to end there.
That's it. You can't take it to a personal way.
And it's because we all then got to come back and still figure it out.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean, be a fanatic, but also remember, man, until it's over, let's stop being the negative.
Yes. That's so true, bro.
And
then
come
back together.
Yeah. I mean, because it's the way we win. And I love what y'all are talking about Cairo football and the tradition we have.
Yes.
Right.
We've played 104 years. 104 years. How many region championships?
That's good. 20. Let's say 24.
20.
20.
1 out of every 5 teams.
1 out of every 5 teams got a regional champion.
20 now. Now we run around talking about how good we are.
Right.
20 in 100 years.
That's all.
How many times have we won over 9 ball games?
Let's say.
Coach, you can win it. Let's say. Get your homework.
Let's say.
That ain't homework. I'm always on this. I'm always on this.
Coach ain't playing. I'm going to throw a number now. I'm going to say 30.
Oh, low.
17 times.
17 times?
So let's take somebody that, because head coaches get criticized.
Right. Talk to me,
but let's be honest. Let's take Coach Coleman.
Okay.
So he just won a region championship and won 10 games.
Yeah.
It's only happened. It only happened 16 and 19 times. But yet we're gonna sit around here. We're not about telling you decisions he made were perfect.
Right.
But at some point you do got to respect the results. It might not be the way that we want to do it, because we all think we know better than the next man. I mean, anybody that sits in this chair is going to come here and tell you about football because that's what we're talking about.
Right.
And they're all going to try to convince you they know about football.
Right.
But here's the important thing, and it's really what I learned the best.
Yes.
As a football coach, it didn't matter what I knew. It didn't matter what Coach Littleton knew. It didn't matter what Coach Whitaker knew.
Okay.
It's what y'all knew.
Players.
It's what we were able to teach you.
Players.
Yeah, and so when you sit here and you say, what did you take the most pride in? Well, obviously we took the most pride in the fact that we taught football. And if you don't believe that, how many former players are coaches?
Right.
Start going back and thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, but it was, you know, what made us, or from Coach Field all the way down, was the family atmosphere, and y'all know that.
Yep.
Right.
And somebody that wants to sit here and talk about a practice, okay?
Yep.
Guys, you knew when we hit that practice field, how many times that we already had meetings that day?
Yeah.
You'd already said it an hour meeting. Yeah, you'd already had an hour to wait. Yeah, we were on our 4th hour out there practice now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you don't sit here and tell me that they don't practice.
And it was real.
That's right, because you don't know what those kids been doing through the day.
Right.
I mean, our kids, y'all wanted to be high school kids, but man, our kids would get their lunch and they down in the field house, they watching some more film.
Yes.
You couldn't get them out there, but that's what we wanted. You know,
Staying in the field house.
Stay in the field house. I mean, that's where they were.
Yeah.
I remember, heck, I thought I was gonna get fired one year. I was so mad at my offensive line. This is when Brady Johnson and Mosley and all those kids were there. I couldn't get a step right. Man, I told Pat up the middle school day. And here we go out there. I kick that door open, and there's the superintendent and the principal. We're looking at the drainage, and I'm out there.
And coach, what you doing, coach?
They're looking at the crap. You finna go hell.
But they take them down through though.
They can't get right.
But we sit there and we talk about football teams. That 2010 football team, was a really good one.
That was good with Coach. And y'all upset me too.
Yeah.
Carlton, I know that game. I came up from Gainesville to that game. I remember my feet. They were so icy cold. I was miserable. Watching the game, and I'm upset. I'm like, well, I was a fan then. I rode the bus, and I was mad.
Yeah.
Coach, what happened in the last 3 minutes of that game?
Well, it happened too. We got drawn, didn't we?
No, it was 17-0. What happened is it was a perfect storm. It was cold. Two good defenses. Carrollton was really good on defense, and so were we. If we play 10 games, we probably go 5-5 with each other.
Okay.
And sometimes, going back to what we're talking about, everybody forgets that every time you play a game, there's going to be a winner and a loser.
Right.
And that's why you play.
Why you play.
And everything that could go right for Carrollton in that game, we kicked off to them. And they had Roderick Snoddy that signed with Georgia Tech. That was a great running back, and they had a big tackle. I think he went to Auburn. I think his last name was Williams. But they were running the wing team. We could stop the wing team. Our defense that year, and look, I ain't getting a discussion about great defenses.
Who would have been that defense? Coach, just put it out there.
No.
Hey, let it finish the story, man.
Finish the story, then come out there. I want to hear those.
What I will tell you is that 2010 team, we played 10 games.
Yeah.
And they gave up, the first team defense gave up 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
But
Who were some of them players on that team?
that's Terrell Kaysen, P.J. Davis,
P.J. Davis.
They was good.
Yeah, but Terrell Casey could. That Mike Will
Casey.
was y'all, but we have a lot of those.
Yeah.
If you're a coach at Cairo, there's one thing I knew is we were going to have runners and hitters.
Yeah.
So everybody sits there, and we never gave up more than 140 points. No, I'm sorry, 180 points in a year.
Wow.
Okay, everybody else can sit there and hang their hat on something. If you played us, you knew we were going to play defense.
Play defense.
Yeah.
You play Carroll, you know they're going to have defense. That's them.
I'm not going to hit you now, bro. We ain't got nothing trying to hit you.
So, but we kicked off to them, and man, it was like playing Coach Pilcher. All of a sudden, they just started getting 3 yards every play.
Uh-oh.
They converted 4th down on us on that drive 4 times.
Wow.
And scored to make it 7-0 with like 3 minutes to go in the first quarter.
I remember that.
PJ Davis was a sophomore then. And, we used to run the middle cross. Y'all remember the old middle cross where we just count and we identify a 0. Everybody drops back across, and you have the knockout guy that springs them. PJ. You
Help me.
Yeah. PJ was that guy.
PJ Davis was too, Coach. Yes, sir.
But PJ knows. We used to
PJ,
say,
PJ.
you can't leave early.
Yeah.
And Carrollton had seen on tape PJ leaving early.
Oh, PJ left early.
Yeah, and sure enough, they onside kicked it. They recovered it. And then they held that ball and went and scored. to make it 14-0. We finally touched the ball for the first time in that game, I think in the second quarter, with 6 minutes to go.
Wow.
That's
you know,
control for real.
And so,
defense.
you know, and then later in that game, we kind of got things back under control. I think Terrell Bryant, Jam's brother, we come back and we kind of have momentum going our way. I'm sorry, they kicked the field goal for 10-0.
Okay. We just said, yeah, they got me, man.
Yeah.
They got it, man.
PJ, they didn't get you much. Bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, he was a house.
But so we come back, we kind of get control.
Yep.
And we hit Terrell Bryant on I think a Cadillac route.
Okay.
And he catches it. He's strolling. I mean, he's going to go in to score at the very least. And as he's running, all of a sudden the ball comes right out from underneath him. I mean, because it was so cold, wearing sleeves. You know, we used to tell you all about that.
Yeah,
If you're going to wear sleeves in a game, man, you better have them on in practice. You know, because that ball, get used to
Get to it.
But, you know, it was so cold that night, I didn't even believe it.
Like a brick.
But it fell right on the ground. They picked it up on about the 3. And the next play, the old snotty kid broke one for about 50. And they went on to score, so they got the momentum back. But it was just, you know, a weird game. Like I said, if we played them 10 times, and really that goes back to what we say, you know, in 104 years of football, you won 3 state championships. You know, that doesn't mean we had bad teams. It means there's a lot of things that got to go right to win it all.
Right.
You know, and when people do win it, man, you got to tip your cap, you know, because it takes a while. It takes a lot of luck. It takes a lot of things that have to go right to be able to win it.
Coach, talking about that, man.
4 years, and wow.
Man, Coach, hold on. I got
You feeling on? What you feeling on?
man, because listen, dog, like, Coach, you talking about that, and you did it twice.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
we
so,
got beat.
I know you know,
Right.
right?
Played the 2 of them, though.
But that was the hardest thing to me, Coach. When we lost that 07 year, you came red by 08 and did it. I need to talk about this. That's why I need to I need to talk to you first.
Zeroing in on it.
First, talk about that team, you know. Talk about all those guys, Jam and Peas, those group, man.
Well, you gotta start off by talking about what laid the foundation on it.
Talk about the foundation.
You know, foundation probably started in 06 with Teal and all those guys when we went to Washington County. And Jam and all of them were sophomores, and Washington County at that time was a powerhouse that always were going to the semifinals, kind of like the runs we had, you know, with y'all. And, you know, we went over there, and man, they were hard-nosed. They would knock dog out of you, too, you know. And we're sitting there, and we're in a war with them, and it's 7-0 at halftime. And I can remember going in, and Jam's sitting over there. Jam's about to cry, you know, and he says, "Coach, they know everything. We're running." And I said, "Jam, we know everything. They're running too. That's why we watch all that dadgum film. You know, you got to do what we do better than what they do. I mean, and that's bottom line. That's what football comes down to." So when you sit there, that lesson was learned then, because in 2008, when we went into the Dome and we played Flowery Branch for state championship, in the fourth quarter when that game was 14-14, we stopped with all the fly motions and the quarterback and said we're going to hang our hat on what we know how to do. And we started running 53 and 56 and scored 20. Howard G.
There you go, down here.
Scored in the fourth quarter and made them like it, you know. But that came from practicing that way. They know it. You know, those kids still know that on inside drill, you know, we're going to run 53 and 56 45 different ways. We're going
They gonna run that thing.
But the other part is, you know, when we just talked about what our philosophy was,
Yes, sir.
we wanted to limit how many times the other team got the ball.
Right.
I mean, like we just said, like we just said, y'all go look at the numbers. You know, we never had a team, and I think it was our first team, by the way. It was 2003 that allowed the 180. From there, I don't know if we ever allowed over 150, which means we only gave up, you know, about 10 points a game or maybe less. So I mean, the offense, all we had to do was score twice.
Right.
We're gonna win a lot of them. Yeah. So I mean, it was an easy philosophy for us to shorten the game. Where offensive guys now, they want to sit there and they want to say how many plays they had. You know, you go to a college guy now, and we average 85 plays. You know, okay. Well, how many is your defense giving up? You know, that's why you see all them 45, 37 games you're there for a while. So, you know, my philosophy was different, and you know, I don't know if it'd be different now if I coach, but back then it was easy. I know I had 100 hitters, and we were going to limit how many times they got the ball.
That was that foundation.
They can't win it. They sit on the sideline watching you go down the field.
That's it.
Get all that faking and get all that moves and motion, and we finna run it right there. Stop me. We finna run it right here. Stop me. You know what I'm saying? That was a coach. You remember when you gave me the opportunity to come and speak to those guys around their sophomore year?
I do.
When I came home and I always be a Syrupmaker Nation, and I said, Coach, I had something I want to talk to the kids about. I want to talk to them. Coach, go ahead. And I remember bringing them up, man, talking about like Jam and Peas, and no guy was like sophomore then. And I was so excited to see them go from 07, 90 minutes from winning the state championship, and then coming back the next year, and like you're saying, Flowery Branch, 14-14, fourth quarter, and they finished the drill, bro.
Yeah. Peace had a great run in that game. We ran the old quarterback counter off of a little tackle trap, almost like a wing T play. But man, he made a great move in the hole. And old Justin Palmer, who's over at Bainbridge now, another coach.
Yeah, another coach.
Shout out to Justin Palmer. He cut inside that thing and took him to the house. We like to do that because we had some kids, but when it came to kind of nut crunching time, we had to go ahead and put our eggs in the basket. We knew we were good on that. But even in that year, and we talked about that year. We played in Thomasville, either game 1 or game 2 over here, and Thomasville. I think they went to the quarters that year with Richie Marsh. I can't remember. I mean, they had some good ball teams. They had the Thompson kid that played Clemson. But we had to convert a 3rd and 13. We hit Dwayne Isom over on our sideline with about 1:40 to go, or they would have got the ball back. And I'm not so sure they wouldn't have beat us. Even a team as good as what we say. Right. And that's what we go to talk about. You got in football, you get teams that kind of evenly matched, or maybe you're just a little bit better because you do things a little bit sunnier than them. And when you get into a playoff time, you just better hope it's not one of the 2 or 3 times out of 10 that they could beat you and things go wrong. Right. And that's the thing. I mean, Thomasville was just as good as us, and we had to convert a 3rd and 13 with about 1:40 to go just to beat them.
Because that team you had, that team had some goats on that team. Talk about your center, Jake Elkins.
Jake played linebacker.
He played linebacker.
Number 6, man. Shout out number 6.
Yeah, he can.
I would. I'm glad you wore that because I wore my favorite Syrupmaker show. They have his number. Yeah. And his little ribbon on the show. But talk about Jake, man.
How smart of a player Jake Elkins was? How physical of a player?
He's a player.
Jake. Well, I mean, before we talk about, anybody that plays Mike linebacker at Cairo, from the Derek Johnsons, y'all to Jeremiah Hill, they're all kids. That's just what those are our guys. We used to run a drill, and I don't know if y'all remember Maker Drill. Yeah, we had to stop Maker Drill. We got to stop.
The state must told y'all to stop.
Oh no, man! I'm telling you, when we was rolling,
get me started.
I can't remember. We had 2. Tyler Shepard was the offensive lineman for me. And I don't know if it wasn't PJ, but it was a linebacker. And they hit each other, and it sounded like 2 Broncos that hit each other, going 45.
Wait a minute! Stop!
And I just don't remember going into the coaches, and we're sitting there, and I said, man, that's the last time we do make it.
They do that.
We done trained. We can't do it anymore.
Well, Coach, I hold a record for the player that cracked them on his helmet.
Well, I don't doubt it, Jerry. I don't doubt it.
Hey, we need to make this my Maker meal. This is my memory of Maker Dream. It was me. I don't know who was on that side, but I remember it was Corey over there. Corey was the lead. And I already knew I was just coming in hard and low. And I feel like lightning struck that day in broad daylight.
What a great drill, It was always, back then, you would do it for those, for those Tarzans, look like Tarzan, but play like Jake. You want to see somebody gonna put their face on somebody. That's all that drill was for.
That way, Coach, y'all said it. That way you separate the boys from the men.
Yeah, I had enough of it.
To make a drill.
Whoever that was,
the men got the boys out of them.
Yeah, that's when you got in your car driving home. And I told myself, man, we're going to get somebody killed.
But we gonna hurt somebody.
We ain't doing it. I ain't got to worry about it being soft no more.
I remember Coach Bird brought that drill lot. For Coach Bird, I brought that drill lot. Man, I remember Jeff Green and Chris Sessions and all of them guys doing that drill, bro. And we were doing it. Man, we was out here. I'm like, well, yeah, we can't do it long.
Yeah.
We're gonna kill each other.
But that's all that was. It was a gut check.
Where you at?
Yeah, where you at? And we always did it in the spring.
Yeah, did it in the season.
Didn't do it in the season.
No.
But and it was just one of those things. And
shout out to the Maker drill.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Maker drill.
But going back to Jake and all the linebackers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But that whole team was a collection of very rarely do you have 22 above average football players.
Right.
And that's why we won. We had above average football players everywhere. And we probably ran about 30, that were above average.
Yeah.
And not only that, when you went to practice, they liked to practice.
They love to practice.
They liked it.
Jam was a bell cow.
They liked to practice.
Hey, Jam was a bell cow.
It's a bell cow.
What? He was doing his thing, maybe on practice, man. He getting everybody right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Other players too, man, but I just always got to get shout out.
But they carried us, definitely, people watching those kids influenced.
That was my favorite team, Coach. That was my favorite team. That 07, 08 team, that was my favorite team.
Yeah, I know Michael Bass said it on here. 08 as a coach was not very fun.
Yeah. Cause talk about that a little bit, man. Cause
07 was just one of those years that everything caught fire, and you went to state championship and nobody was expecting it.
The first state championship playing at home field, too, Coach.
Man, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
My wife's sister got married that day.
Ooh,
So she had to go to Nashville, Georgia for the wedding in the morning. So, day of the state championship game, we played on the Saturday. I couldn't sleep. Okay, so I got up and I was up here at the field house at 5:30. Okay, and as I'm pulling in, y'all, there's already 5 people at the gate waiting to get in for a 3 o'clock game.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to, remember our pregame meals were in the lunchroom.
Right.
Yeah, we walked out of that field house to go eat a pregame meal, and we get a standing ovation. I mean, you talking 3 hours before the game.
Yeah. I waited 3-4 hours before the game.
Yeah, the gate. That's the other story. Was the St. Pius game.
I remember that.
St. Pius. Everybody was so worried.
St. Pius.
At St. Pius, they had the running back that went to Alabama, Geno Smith or something Smith. I forget his name. He was a little wingback number 2, but. We sitting there at St. Pius, and we get off the bus, which it was a 7:30 game. That means I got in the field at 5. 2.5 hours for the game. We getting off the bus, and we look up in the stands, and all our fans sitting there. Yeah, they already ready because they got our half ready. And that game, St. Pius has a field house in the end zone, so we were down here. Their field house is up above, and we're sitting down there in the end zone, and we're in a circle. We got our special teams group out. We got our linebackers, our deep snappers, and they're all over there stretching. You got Woot, and then you got Terrell Cason, and you got PJ, and you got our boys, and you just got a bunch of them. And all of a sudden, I see them coming down the hill. They didn't come through the stands. They come down through the woods. And I kind of sit there, and I said, "Well, man, this is about to get ugly. I don't know what's going on." And here they come. And they come right to our group. We're in a big circle of about 10. And they run right through the middle. And Terrell Cason was over there doing an old stretch.
This their team.
Yeah, this is their team. Their special team. Their 30 runs right through the middle of our stretch. And, they're all down there stretching. And I remember old Cason looked up at me. He says, "Coach, anybody get there?" And I said, but you kind of knew it, But
we gave it to him too. I remember that game.
That's a good game.
That was a good game.
That was a good football team too. We talk about 2012. Steve Bench and all them. It was good.
Man, they say, we got people asking all. Antonio Clark said, ask him about his favorite media specialist. LOL.
What's that now? Ask about your first.
Ask him about his favorite media specialist.
Mr. Cloud, we probably should have met each other.
We
probably should have met each other a long time ago. I would have made him my chief recruiter.
I told him
want to know that.
Man, you got a lot of your former TJ girls on here, man. You got Stacey Massey, them were great days. Jeremiah Green, asked him about Robert Thornton as nose guard.
Man, and that's another thing. And coaching philosophies are different. Y'all remember we had Alan Copeland that knows.
Oh yeah.
Smallest man on the team. And I was sold on having a quick nose. Okay, David Morris and all those little guys that we had that played nose, that could backdoor a center, read a block, cross the face, get upfield. They would do it all. They'd either cross face, get upfield, come back down line. All those kids that we had, and then we brought in Coach Johnson from Lee, and Coach always just wanted this big nose guard. I mean, he always wanted a 280-pound nose guard that wouldn't get moved, and we were always fighting, man. Give me somebody that can run, okay? And Robert Thornton was that guy. He was a stocky stump, which we've had so many kids we've called stump for years. But I mean, Robert, and that's the thing, man. I'd be neglectful of it. There's so many kids in 12 years to 15 years of coach that were good football players.
Right.
And it's hard to pick a favorite of this because bottom line is we're going to line up again this year, and we're going to have some good players this year.
Right.
Yeah. But everybody wants somebody to tell me, hey, man, y'all are the best.
That crown on the head. Oh, yeah. But it all go even skin.
What's unfortunate is, I've been here so long, too, and a lot of the people that are being mentioned have passed away. And that's the thing that really shapes you as a coach is how short life is. Because I've experienced, a lot of players or former players passing. And that is, something that I, always pray for the families that have those young kids. That you never want to bury one of your kids before you die.
You take that with you the rest of your life.
And so
you remember the good things about that kid.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't want to just talk about Jake because Jake was a special kid. There was a lot of them from Jerry Duck Bodderford, Logan Bennett. I don't know if y'all remember Barrett. He drowned swimming across
Josh Barrett?
I think it was Justin. Barrett. He was a lineman 73. Marcus Holmes. We've had Jeremiah Gordon. We've had a bunch of deaths. TJ. Goo.
Snake G. I don't know.
Syrupmaker greats, man.
Yeah. All of us. But that goes back to what we just talked about. When we start sitting here throwing these names out, man, it's amazing how it brings everybody together.
Yeah. Right.
It's amazing how much a loss tears people apart.
Right.
We've gotten to where if we lose in an event, it's got to be somebody's fault.
Right. And we got to
not just that we got beat. Man, it's got to be somebody's fault. We ain't doing this. We ain't doing that.
Right.
Man, it happens. You play 10 times. You're gonna lose. It's part of the game. It's why we play it. But now don't get me wrong. There's times there's an adjustment that need to be made.
Yeah.
But man, I get so disheartened every time we play a game that I hear the same stuff over and over. And you got people that are just waiting to jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah. I gotta agree.
Because they just want to tear Cairo down. And I'm a perpetual. Let's get it back together. And at the end of the year, we'll figure out what we got to do.
Right.
And that's one reason why we want to do this, Coach. Because we want to, even though we know we former players and we played, y'all got us when we were boys, when we was kids. Y'all taught us a race of how to be men. And we back full circle now when we can give back to the program that made us who we are as men, as people working in the community that want to give back. And in regards to what our satisfaction is about our culture, we Syrupmaker, and we gonna support Syrupmaker football to the day we die. So whatever they doing, we right there with them. The thing that make Cairo so great is the fans.
Yeah. The most important thing I like, new coach, I gotta say this, is coming to the game.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all excited because the game ain't been played yet. Yeah. We all on the same team. We all wearing our Syrupmaker colors. We ready to go. The coach is ready to go. The players ready to go.
Right.
And being able to come, I think that's why it's so big. Not only in Cairo, but in all our surrounding areas.
Yeah.
South Georgia football is huge, man. This is big. Like I remember my cousin brought her husband up. They lived in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
You know, Jacksonville, Florida, you know, they got athletes, they got football, but it ain't no like a Friday night football game.
Right.
He come here and see a Friday night football game, his mind was blown away. That many people come out to a football game, and you will give your example how when you came down. And so just being able to be around that type of atmosphere on Friday night, is you can't go anywhere, you can't find that anywhere, right? I ain't from Texas, you know what I'm saying? I'm not from Alabama or Florida, but I'm from Cairo, Georgia. And when we ready to come to the stadium, but we ready to come. You see what I'm saying? So I always get excited, man, about football, and then, you know, being able to talk about it. But Coach, tell me about this, Coach. Like, what was your challenge, like you say, going through that year of that 2008 year? I know you were getting on to it, but what was your challenge?
I mean, I think the challenge was the fact that as a coaching staff, you knew you had the best team. And the challenge, knowing that you're the best, is not letting the kids slip into that mindset.
They can't even know they're the best.
Yeah, so you still have to find ways to challenge them and motivate them in practice, because you know there's going to come a time that a game's going to be a coin flip. You know, and we were challenged at times that year, but they would always find ways to kind of turn on. I mean, you got to tip your hat to Burke County, because Burke County really came down here and got after our butts. I think we ended up pulling away late. I think it was 35-28, but we scored late to make it 41-28 or whatever it was.
Right.
But they had really kind of gotten after our butts, and really, if we hadn't kept pressing our kids, I don't know if we win that game, you know, because it was one of those games that whatever could go wrong did go wrong. But we found a way to come back and kind of control the game. And on the scoreboard, you look at it, you don't really think, you know, hey, that game was close. But it was. They
very well.
Yeah,
they don't know how to measure it down in the trenches and down in the valley. They don't see that part.
Right.
They just see what the scoreboard says.
And they had really kind of gotten after us. So I mean, the hard part was the pressure that you put on yourselves, and that's coaching. You know, knowing that you have the team and being able to execute it was the problem. And really, I give, you know, our coaching staff and our coaches a lot of credit. You know, a lot of people ask, you know, what do you think your secret was during those times? You know, and I think anybody that knows us during those times knows that staff enjoyed being together. We were always together. Now, I mean, you didn't see us in Cairo much. You know, we don't go out. We're at each other's house.
Right.
But, you know, there wasn't a weekend or a day that at least 3 to 4 coaches weren't together.
Right.
You know, in the off season, we were always playing golf or competing in games, because, like I just said, we're all competitors, and we grew up that way.
Right.
But you know, that's kind of, you had the family atmosphere, you had that with the players, and it's really what created the environment to win a bunch of games.
Right, and that was very key and very important for the players to get a bunch of players that just, they knew each other, they were together, they spent a lot of time together. And then you could develop your team playing around these kids, because they already know each other. They already played over the years in the sand, like stuff like that. So then you just got to get them and get them developed on how to win.
Yep.
And so you got a bunch of kids that had already been playing with each other through the recreation department, the rec and travel ball and stuff like that. And so they had already had that experience with each other. You just had to get them fundamental trained and how to be dogs.
Hit that gap.
How to get it.
Coach, where you going at now? What levels and stages that you at now, Coach? Are you ever gonna coach again?
That's good.
I don't know.
It's still in you though.
No, I love
you got excited.
Yeah.
You about ready to put us in
he's like, I couldn't tell he don't talk much. I thought we found some bitch, Coach.
I love coaching, but I mean, you know, I got 5 grandkids, and
man! Shout out granddaddy.
Papa, what they call you?
What they call you?
I'm Pop.
Yeah, your coaching days is over.
It's over. I mean, if I wanted to, you know, but you know, I've also had the opportunities to go to places, and what people don't understand is, you know, there's one place I would ever coach again, and that's here, because this is the best place to coach in my mind. Yeah. You know, and it's funny, and you watch coaches, and I learned this just, you know, and you talk about self-reflection again, you know, but. You know, Coach Freeman, that was at Brooks County.
Yes.
Okay, well, go look at the Hammers' record at other schools. Okay. It's a losing record. Because, you know, everybody's personality fits in with certain types of kids.
Right.
And I knew that my personality and the way I could coach fit in here, that might not have been able to fit everybody.
That makes sense.
And so to me, I had the best job in the state.
Right.
And I always told myself, I was going to coach as long as I was coaching it the way it needed to be coached.
Right.
What started happening, and it was a weird feeling, we always would take the last week in June and the 4th of July, and we'd go off on a vacation to, beat my last 2 weeks of really seeing my family, my kids.
Yeah.
And I'd always be ready to come back and start football. That first day was, our first day in helmets, and here we go. It's football season.
Right.
Honey, I'll see you at Christmas.
Yeah.
But I started, having that feeling of, I don't want to do this. Dreading it a little bit instead of being excited about it. And that's when I said I got to get out, because you're not going to take what I know has to be done.
Right.
And do it. Because y'all know as well as we do. You get through with the Dome game, and we come back and you'd have 2 weeks before Christmas.
Right.
Okay? When y'all got back on January 6th, there was going to be a big trash can in the middle of that weight room. And we were going to have at least 10 of us thrown up in that trash can.
Yes, sir.
Because we start on January 6th.
Ready.
And we end when it's over. I mean,
That's
it's a grind.
It's a grind.
Yeah. And if you can't do that every day, then I'm cheating y'all.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you got to be committed as a coach. Just committed as
Not only you as the head coach, but every single coach to the water boy.
And I got to that point, and I knew I was starting to regret it. That's when I said I got to get out. So, do I miss coaching? Yeah, man, I miss this. I miss talking.
Right.
You want to get on the board, and you want to talk about fundamentals, and you want to talk about what steps to take on college G. I'm with you. I'll do it.
Right.
You want to put me at 3 o'clock on a Monday afternoon at 3:15 in 100-degree heat?
Yeah.
Y'all go have that.
Yeah.
You can have that all you want. I'm done with it.
But coach, and I guess you probably seen some of the implementation of the state rules each year as it got to where it at now, like the concussion protocols. When we played, we was having a little things we made, but we didn't know that's what it was.
Right.
But then as they got
spots.
as they start implementing that, they kind of changed the rules of the game. Like how long you can practice in the red sun, how much water intake you can't be in the, we gotta have something in the shade. Everything has changed where it feels like it's watered down the sport. We know it's the hard nosed pounding part of the sport.
Yeah.
But the way they coach and teach the kids now, I can't relate to it.
Yeah.
Even tackling is like it's all different.
It'd definitely be a little bit different, I think. Just because I haven't lived it. But the one thing that, going back to what we said, before we ever got to that practice field, now we'd already been through 3 hours of things.
That's right.
So I wasn't a big, and I know that everybody has a different philosophy, but one memory that sticks in my mind, and y'all probably don't remember this because we were on opposite ends back then. Defense would be on one end, offense on the other. And I'm a man. I can't remember how old I was when I came here, but 28, 29-year-old, offensive coordinator down there. And we're about to go play Shaw in the semis.
Yeah.
Man, I'm jacked. Here we are in the semifinals.
Right.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we had a practice that went about 3.5 hours. And all I can remember is a running back sitting in that huddle. Man, coach, I got to go home and study. Now, if you got a tailback that's telling you, and he ain't no scholar.
Okay? You gotta go study.
When we about to go play in the semifinals. And I told myself then, man, these 3.5 hour practices ain't good. And so when you talk about the heat, people will tell you now, early in the season, we had to get a lot of fundamentals in, a lot of periods inside. But as I got toward the playoffs, man, people would come watch us because we'd be all on and off that field in 115 minutes, and we done run 85 plays at each other.
Right.
And just gone. Okay, because we're gonna catch whatever we need to catch on film at that point.
Right.
But so I was, to answer your question about the time period.
So you still can get it done.
You get
in that short period of time, and not be.
It's a big strategic.
It would be hard early.
Right.
Yeah. It's just honest. But it was hard back then because it was 100.
Yeah.
You know this. The first 3 weeks of football season, it was just survival.
Right.
Because
every 5 you had to get your body conditioned and all that for that too.
Shoot.
A lot of water.
I remember being in that first meeting with Coach Field and him talking about, we're talking about who's in charge of this and this and this, and I forget what coach. He says, okay, you're in charge of running them to the hospital, when they go down. And I said, what? And, what's he talking about? He says, when they full body cramp. I said, what are y'all talking about, man?
Yeah.
You don't know full body cramp until you practice in South Georgia.
For real. I go through them every year.
And man, I
got a bunch of IVs. I know.
I tip my hats to all the doctors and the people that we've had in Grady County.
Yes, sir.
Because we used to be able, back then, when I was head coach, we'd have a kid go down and it'd take 2 bags of fluid. But we walk in and man, they would just green light us. We'd go right through them doors.
Yeah.
They put the old IV on them.
Green light, come on back, sir.
Come on back. So that was all the doctors, Dr. Lynch, Dr. Hudson, and Dr. D. Smith, all of them that volunteer. I used to have people at Kiwanis meetings and everything get so mad about all the people on the sidelines that had red shirts.
Right.
They get mad because Coach, how many coaches you got down there? Man, they don't understand, man. I'm giving red shirts to anybody who wants to come help. Right. Come on down here.
Coach, you got
How many red shirts you got down there? Anybody want to help?
Man, our budget for shirts was a lot.
Yeah. But that's a blessing though, because people want to be a part of this service.
Absolutely.
Man. People want to be a part of this, bro. I mean, once again, bro, me being a kid, man, my mom and dad brought me to the game, and it was so electric, just to hear that name over the intercom, 47 Michael Anderson on the tackle. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, that made my neck on my hair stand up. And so just being able to win the Central games, I ain't started, but I get in the first or second quarter when we playing Central my freshman year. I think like 10,000 people in the stadium and standing room only, rocking. You talking about the Thomasville game they went to. I remember that game, rocking only. But just being able to understand this, man, you can't implement this anywhere else, bro.
On a Friday night at West Thomas Stadium, crowd rocking ain't the best place to be on earth. It was under them lights.
Yes, it is.
On a Friday night. That will go down with me till I go to my grave. Them was some of the best days of my life on a Friday night.
Good times.
Good times.
No doubt.
And we won a bunch of games and we had a lot of fun. It was family oriented. We taught how to be men. Football teach you so much about life. By getting knocked down, persevering, how you gonna react to it. You can see you almost at the end, you finna win and they get took away from you. Football teach you all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You teach men that coming from home with no mom, no dad, and coming here, being able to bond with brothers and call my family. We all right there from the first game to the last one, praying at pregame. That's it. It made you a man. Go credit all that to football.
And think about this, Coach. That first year you've been an offensive coordinator, right? But then we go to the Dome, we lose 62. I always use that as an analogy of just using to move through life in my own life. Right. You see what I'm saying? And it wasn't all bad, because when you go back, I look at when I went to the Marine Corps, Coach. Football, high school, Cairo football got me through. Man, I played Cairo High School football, man. I can do this. Yeah. If I'm out here in this 110-degree heat for 3 hours, go feel the England up.
No water.
Yeah, I'm hitting Queen every snap.
That had to be fun.
I'm hitting Queen every snap with my reps. You know what I'm saying? It's no 50% half speed.
Yeah, I ain't going half speed. I ain't giving that one. You ain't going half speed. I go half speed when I ain't got my head, man.
Cause what would you say to the Cairo High School fans right now, man, going into
coming
this
up? Yeah,
year?
That's good.
Yes, sir.
I think I've said it. I think the fact that I think the world is always looking for somebody to blame on something that's gone wrong.
Right.
Instead of just accepting it and getting better from it.
Right.
And I know that as a fan, that's hard to digest, because we want to see our team win.
Every snap, every play, every game.
You want to see your kid be the best.
Yep.
We gave examples of Kit Bryce, Thornton, Peter Augusta. Moses. We have so many kids that waited to turn part of the team that probably was at home and their parents telling them, man, why did you quit? They ain't gonna play you. They ain't playing you.
Right.
It's easy to be negative. I'm negative a lot of times too. But it's also easy. It's also easy to understand during the heat of the moment. Let it go. When it's over, be a part of it.
Yes.
And we got to get back to that a little bit. Because we're proud of Cairo. Football here, it's you're 11th in the state. in total victories. This year we'll go over 700 wins, which only 10 other teams have done in the state. Winning is here, but it also you got to have some perspective about winning, like we talked about. 20 region championships in 100 years. And don't tell me it was different in this generation, because it's all relative. Yeah, I don't want to hear all that. I mean, everybody likes to say that, but it's relative. And that's the thing. I mean, so get on board.
Get on board. Y'all better tighten up, man. We got a good year coming up.
You got a bunch of good kids.
Great.
And the fact is, what I like about these kids is the fact they want to be here.
Yes, indeed.
And that's the thing. I can still remember Jeremiah Bodiford after we played for a state championship in 08. Everybody was thinking in 09 we weren't going to be very good.
Yeah.
And so Jeremiah Bodiford was Scooby was starting at free safety. And I told you, Marston had a good thing going at Thomasville. And I remember Barford coming in because we was in the middle of January and we're back to work. We just won a state championship, but I know what we got to do. We're busting the butts in January. And he you know how those kids are. Sometimes you get a little bit lost in your ways. And Coach, you busting my butt, and I think I'm going to go over here because they want me.
Right.
And I remember him coming in and telling me, hey, Coach, I think I'm going to go to Thomasville. That's fine, Jeremiah. I said, but tomorrow when you come in that door, I'm still going to coach you hard until you walk out the door and go somewhere else. That ain't going to change the way I'm treated.
Right.
But that kind of, the stories, and I don't get to coach these kids, but I hear the stories, but you got a bunch of kids that have been together that love Cairo.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of them.
And that's what we want.
That's what we want.
That's what we want. If you don't want to be here, it's fine. Whatever your reason is, I don't blame you.
Right.
That's you and your family's choice.
Right.
Nobody gets mad about that.
Right.
But on your way out, you ain't got to burn the place down.
Yeah. You got to drag.
Don't give me an excuse why you left. Just leave.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because as long as we're here, we're gonna keep coaching.
That's right.
That's all we want.
Man, love that, man.
Man, let me call these man. We had we got into this football, man. We forgot to eat. Shout out to Scott's Tasty Chicken, one of our sponsors, man. Shout out to Soko Smokehouse right there in Wiggum at the light. You can't miss them. You go to the only light in Wiggum, they're right on the right. If you head to Bainbridge, you coming to Cairo, they're on the left. The only light in Wiggum. Shout out to Graze and Craze for this wonderful spray we got here. We've been so in-depth in this conversation, just on every word of what Coach Fallaw got to say, man. I've been nibbling on it, but man, it's been such a great interview thus far. Shout out to Jessica Reeves she got us some pillows in the podcast room, man. We got pillows. We got Coach Fallaw got his feet down on the 50.
You good?
Shout out to that, man. We got some merch. You want some t-shirts? We got some on the 50 t-shirts. To get us inside, man. We gotta go back and got an order. We gotta go ahead and put our order in now.
A lot of people got t-shirts.
I can put my feet on this.
You
why? For 16 years.
Oh yeah, you should paint the feet and then you go.
16 years I had to paint that.
How you end up with? I remember when you first got me. That was one of your jobs when you first. How you got? How they
say, hey, you gonna be the field painter?
Yeah, I don't know.
You started at the bottom, paint the field, and went all the way to the top and won a state championship.
Yeah, but hey, everybody's got to pay the dues. I mean, that's
you do.
Yeah, I was all, I wouldn't call the fact he hired me as offensive coordinator at the bottom. I mean, he gave me a chance.
Oh yeah.
But to be honest with you, painting that field became, man, on a Friday, because all the craziness on game day.
Yes.
That became a church, man. I could go down there and I could paint that field, and I was in a whole other world. Yeah, I mean, and really, I enjoyed it. One of the worst things I'll never forget when Doc Gabe was talking about putting turf down was the fact that we weren't going to have that painted down. Because I'm just telling him, it was just a place where I could get my mind right. All week, you get to that point. And painting that field, even though, man, there's 100 degrees out there bending over, I ain't doing it again.
Yeah, ain't doing it right the first time.
That's it.
Right the first time, you got to worry about the coach. Coach, as we get close to cold, we ask everybody that sits on the 50 with their feet planted on the CHS logo with pride. We give our best. Who would you, two names, it'd be two women or two men. to come in, sit in that chair, and do exactly the same thing you did tonight, but share your story with us. It's things that we didn't even know that you had like.
You got some good names, good story, man. Sean, the baby with the safety that we burnt them on.
I never knew that.
Yeah, we got to talk that up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you want to touch different time periods. I mean, mostly we've probably touched time periods that the last 25 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of Coach Steve Bench,
Right.
who was before y'all weight room guy, but he came back and was my tight end coach.
Right.
He won the state championship in 1990 with Coach Jones, Ralph Jones.
Yep.
You could probably get both of them together.
Right.
Both of them like to talk. Okay, I don't like to talk.
Hey, Mike, I disagree with that.
Well, we in line of football. We gotta make some conversation.
I mean, it's different now. I can talk football all day.
But anything else, Coach, you playing the side, you gonna get stoic.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, Coach, you just don't like people, and I'm like, no, I'm shy, I'm an introvert. But now you get me talking about football.
Yeah. But Coach, can I say this though? When you were describing yourself though, you was a offensive lineman and played catcher, right? You wasn't big on me. It wasn't big on see me or I got to be the spotlight. You was a grinder. And as a catcher, you in every play, bending on your knee, taking ball, taking foul pitches off your knees, shin. Offensive lineman, you in the trenches, hand getting stepped on, spit on, all of that knee in your back. You was a grinder, man. That's your personality. Cause you ain't gonna do no lot of talking.
Yeah.
Right? You just come in with the action, and we gonna go from
He want to show you results. He didn't want to speak.
He gonna hit you in your mouth.
Yeah, we just put the results.
Then female, I would probably say LB. His basketball coach up in Hampton area. I think she'd be a good one, or even Coach Maston over at Thomas County.
Yep.
But Coach Maston.
You said LB Brown.
Yeah.
Yes, you basketball coach. Yeah.
All right, y'all names on the spot. Coach Maston.
That's what's her name?
Oh, they're from over there in Wickham over there.
Yeah, that's what you call it. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. That's her daughter. She teach over there in Washington.
Yeah, she's actually the track coach here. She helping with track coach here.
That's Hampton.
Miss Hampton. Yeah, her daughter. Coach Masson on our live right now. Coach Masson, you on the clock.
Man, Coach Masson, talk to me, man.
To give us, Coach Masson, everything you said, Coach Fallaw, about how y'all coaches now, he been amen, the whole, Coach Masson been the whole,
it was
the whole thing.
I'm going to tell you that
he said, not to cut you off, he said, I'll talk about those days a lot right now. Coach Masson said.
Well, we all learned, those days from 03 to 14, the whole, not just the football staff, Coach Chance, Coach Master.
Yep. Shout out Coach Chance. Coach Chance.
Look, if you enjoyed, as much as you enjoy your family, okay?
Yeah.
Right.
We enjoyed getting up in the morning and coming to work.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen much. You think about people in the educational business, they telling you, man, when spring break, when summer get out.
Yeah.
We couldn't wait to get up here and work. And that was the relationship that we had, and it was awesome.
You ain't got Miss Fallaw and talking about no doubt.
Shout out to Miss Fallaw.
For going through all the stuff.
You know what I'm about to say, man? Enduring Syrupmaker Nation.
Like what I done got myself into.
Man, I love you, Coach, bro, man.
Hey, we're going to bring you back, Coach. We got to bring you back,
Coach.
Teresa, they said, thanks so much to Teresa Brown. Latoya Brown.
Latoya Brown, man. Shout out, man.
Latoya Brown, you on the clock, man.
And who's had, and we talk about, it's amazing to me, just a small school like Cairo, how many coaches we produce all of a sudden. Yeah. But she's done a tremendous job up there with the girls basketball program. Has played in the state championship. Has done a great job. And and I know she comes back and puts on a basketball camp for Coach Robinson. So she does a tremendous job. But and by the way, I do want to say this when we talk about teams. Okay? Everybody always asks me what team is my favorite. Okay. And what I'm going to tell you is the 2005 senior class. You talk about the Cars, Leaks, B-Rob.
Okay.
That class was really the one that got us started. Okay. We were 10-2 and won a region championship, and we had receivers that couldn't break a 4.9 40. And it's just the truth. But those kids were really the ones that were the heart and soul of do what we tell you to do. and things will work out. And we were not a very good ball team, but we went 10-2. Got beat by Shaw that year again. But Shaw had the big running back that went to Miami, Mabry. Jeremy Mabry, I think was his name. And we really had we thought we were going to get beat by 50, 24-0. We were celebrating.
Oh, wow.
You know, but I mean, that group was one of my favorites just because they were our first group. You know, it's the first group also that I was in charge of in the weight room, and they were freshmen. So I kind of grew up with Mar Jones and all those kids. And that Montarius Moore, I mean, you know, that was just one of those teams that overachieved and believed in what we said. They weren't the most talented, even though some of them, you know, don't get mad because I said y'all weren't the most talented. But remember, you know, we were behind, I think, in every game at halftime. And we went 10-2.
Man.
You know, and found ways to win football games.
I was
Martin Jones said we set the tone.
I wish
100% right. Martin Jones, number 56.
And Darren Johnson said he worked us hard. These are playoffs, Coach.
I wish I was able to kind of watch some of those seasons because those are the seasons that I was in. I played college ball in 2001, then I joined the Marine Corps. So 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, I was in California. That's how I was able to kind of understand because even at 017, I came home for a little while from California and I was able to watch that team. The first game I watched was when we lost to Central. When we lost to Central, then we go, and then that's the 07 year. And then I also like, I guess, elated by our team. I watched the whole next year, every game. Before I went back, I came home football season, watched all the games. So I was in California then, man. But you know, shout out to all the Syrupmakers, everybody that plays Syrupmaker football. Man, this one is for you, man. This Coach Fallaw,
You gotta bring it back.
Coach Fallaw is the foundation of Syrupmaker football, man. The winningest coach in our program. One of the most special individuals, man. Brought the state championship to the Hall of Fame. Man, dumped into the Hall of Fame. So I've just been elated to have Coach Fallaw here with him, man. So once again, man, we're gonna have a great evening, man. Man, let's give it a another hand clap of praise, man. Coach Fallaw in the building, man. Thank y'all for coming with us, man. Y'all continue to keep following us, man. Keep telling people about it.
The little man.